Everybody. So I have to be completely honest, the original intention of this video was I was going to show you some of the benefits and some tips for shooting woodland photos in really heavy rain. It was forecasted to be very heavy rain, but yeah, it's just a bit cloudy and a little bit of a drizzle, which just isn't going to do for the video. So I think I'm going to have to do that one another day for you. And I was kind of feeling a bit sorry for myself, and I was about to turn around and go home and just kind of cancel the whole thing. But I thought, why not make a little video anyway, and share the realities of what it can sometimes be like when you go out and you're expecting one thing and you don't quite get it. So I'll have a little bit of an explore around anyway. Maybe we'll find something, maybe we won't. But I thought it could still be interesting to see this side of things where it doesn't quite go to plan. And I might find something, I might not. But either way, I thought it'd be nice to share that with you. So let's go and have a look, see what we find. Okay, so I think I actually have found a fairly nice little scene here. So I'm quite glad I didn't go off on a huff home like I was going to. And what I found is I found this nice tree. It's just got its fresh green leaves on it, these spring leaves, like a little skirting of leaves around the outside of it. We've got all these lovely fresh green brackens here. All the bluebells and things have pretty much disappeared now. And the bracken's kind of taken its place, and all these fresh green colours. So I thought I might as well play around with that. I don't think this is an amazing shot. I don't think it's going to be an incredible shot by any means. But I think it's quite a nice little composition, and I think I'll have a play around with it. So I'll join you behind the camera and we'll see what we can get here. Okay, so I'm just behind the camera now. And yeah, this whole shot for me is just about the spring greens. I'll just zoom in a bit, but it was this tree that initially drew me to the shot. I just really like this sort of little skirt of green leaves around the outside of it. And quite often I'm looking for these little splashes of colour. So if this was autumn, these might be kind of like an orangey golden colour, and that's something I'd look out for. And now in spring, we have these really light, fresh greens. And then we've also got these lovely brackens that have just come through, and they're all this really fresh early spring colour as well. So yeah, I'm just going to try and get a nice shot here. I think it's quite interesting. Like I said, I don't think it's by any means an amazing shot, but I just think it's quite a nice little composition. And I really like the texture of all these ferns that we've got on the floor. And the area is quite good because it's looking down into kind of a deeper part of the forest. So we don't have too many highlights in the sky to worry about. I have to I'll show you. It's only once we get up to about here. So I quite like that when I find a scene when there's not too much sky visible. We've maybe got a little bit here we need to watch out for. But yeah, if you're shooting straight down into a forest and it's a bit darker behind, I think that usually helps the composition quite a lot to avoid those blown highlights or anything like that. I might try doing a little panorama as well, because I quite like the nice big open green space that we've got. Yeah, we've also got some little leaves on this one here. So yeah, I'll have a little bit of a play around and hopefully we can get something nice here. Okay, I've actually found another quite nice little scene. I don't by any means think this is an amazing shot or anything like that, but it is quite nice, and I thought it'd be good to get a little shot of it here, and maybe it's something to revisit in different weather just to see how it looks. What drew me to the scene initially was the contrast of this nice little orange tree. It's got this kind of orange colour to the bark. It had quite a strong contrast with the green and with all of the other trees around it. And that's something I'm always looking out for in woodland images, is a bit of contrast. I think it was a Disney animator said, contrast creates interest. And that's very true in woodland images. So looking for contrasting trees, contrasting colours and things like that can really help make your composition a bit more pleasing. Yeah, I think today's going to be a bit of a theme of not getting any amazing shots, but just having a bit of fun and getting some quite nice ones. So yeah, I'll go behind the camera now and we'll try and see if we can get something good here. Okay, so I'm just behind the camera now and I'm setting up the shot. As I mentioned, it was the contrast of this tree, the colours and just the different texture. It has a really smooth texture, and I just think it really stands out. It has a nice kind of bit of side light on it. It's very cloudy, overcast day today, so everything's quite flat. But there was a little bit of rain earlier, which has helped kind of saturate some of the colours a bit, which is really nice. So yeah, I've just been moving the camera around a bit to try and find a good position. And then I've been doing little micro adjustments to try and avoid too much overlap of the trees over here and here, and just try to separate them out because we haven't got any fog or anything today to help with that. So yeah, I think I'm going to go for something a bit like this. Like I said, it's quite nice. By no means is it an amazing shot, but I just think it's quite nice and pleasing. And your eye is really drawn to this little tree here. I think it's got a bit of character to him. I like the lean here as well. So yeah, I'll try and get a couple of shots here, see how they look. Okay, so some great news. I was on my way back to the car. I was just going to head home and I'd kind of finished with the video for the day. Then it started pouring with rain, which is really good news for woodland images. It's probably not good news for much else. But what I can do now is I can head behind the camera and I can talk through some of the benefits of shooting in the rain. I think I'll still probably do a more in-depth video like I'd initially planned on another day when I've got a bit more time, but I can still at least talk you through some of the benefits of it. Hopefully get some cool images in this amazing spot with these great pine trees. So yeah, I'll head behind the camera now and let's have a look. Okay, so I've just popped behind the camera now. And this is a spot I've actually been to before. It was just on the way back to the car. But as it started raining, I thought I might as well add in some of the tips about shooting in the rain and some of the benefits that I was originally going to cover. I think what I'll do is I'll still make a full video for you another day when I've got a bit more time to spend on it, and then I can go for everything in a bit more detail about shooting in the rain. But just to cover some of the points here. So what I've got here is I've set up this composition with these nice big trees, and I really like the impact of them. I've kind of tried to separate them all out nicely. And I just think they've got a lot of presence. And I also really love the green moss on the floor. There's this rich green moss covering the floor, which is great. And just to talk you through some of these benefits of shooting in the rain. So the first one is it creates this kind of nice haze and softness to the image. It's not quite as good as fog in some ways, but it's got a different feel to it. And you can just see in the background it's become a bit softer, a bit hazier, and it's helped to wash everything out a bit. And it's also helped just to soften everything. And I've mentioned before in my editing video, I'll link that above, about how I like to soften the images in the woodlands. And then this is just a way that's naturally done for you with the use of the rain. And then the other great thing it does is it does really good things for the colours in the image. So these mosses, for example, and these leaves, once they get sort of saturated and really wet with all the rainwater, the colours really change. They tend to become a bit more vibrant, which is always really nice as well. So it just gives you a bit more variation and something else to try out. So yeah, like I said, I'll cover everything in a bit more detail in a full video soon, but I'll get a few shots here and hopefully you've got something good. And then I'm going to probably head back to the car and head home. All right, let's see what we get. Okay, so I think I'm going to be heading home soon. But I really hope that still helps show some of the benefits of shooting in the rain for your woodland images. As you saw at the start of the video, things weren't quite going to plan and it wasn't really what I'd originally hoped for or set out for. And more often than not, that is what happens in woodland and landscape photography. You don't get the conditions you wanted, or you come back home and you're a little bit disappointed with the shots, or you go out and you just spend hours trying to find a composition and it's something you have to come back to another day. And I didn't want to hide that reality from you or from this channel. And I want to show you what it's really like. So I'm really glad that I shared that with you. But anyway, I think what we can do now is we'll head home and we'll have a look through some of the images together. And like I said, in the future, I will make another video which goes into a lot more detail about shooting in the rain for woodland images. So thank you so much, and I'll join you inside in the dry. Okay, and welcome back. So as you saw, the video didn't quite go to what the original plan was, which was to create something about shooting in the rain and some of the benefits of that for your woodland images. But that's just something I'll have to do another day, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I was going to scrap the video, but I'm really glad I carried on with it because I think it helps kind of highlight the realities of landscape and woodland photography, which is more often than not when you do go out, you do come away with images you're not quite happy with, or they need a bit more work, and the weather isn't always going to play how you want it to. But I've loaded them up on the computer and we can have a look through them together. We can see what's kind of worked, what hasn't really worked, and maybe some of the benefits there could be of going back to those scenes on another day. But I did really enjoy taking these images and it was really great to be out and about, so I don't regret going out, but obviously it just didn't go to plan. Okay, let's have a look. So I really like the colour of the fresh green leaves on the tree here, and I like the kind of shape they've got. And I really like the brackens on the floor. I like the kind of nice texture they've got and the colour. But I think the scene overall, it's a bit busy, you're not quite sure where to look, and there's not a lot of separation between our main subject and the background, and I think it just becomes a bit too distracting. And for me, it's just a bit more of a snapshot rather than a really nice image. And I think I could have just worked on the composition a little bit more. We've got quite a bit of overlap here in the background and this tree here. I did play around quite a lot trying to find the best angle to take it from. But I think overall it's just a little bit too busy. Colours and the texture are very nice, but in terms of the composition, I think it could be improved quite a bit. This area I think has a little bit more potential. Again, I think I'd need to work on it a bit more, and it maybe needs some rain or some fog to kind of improve it. But I do really like the contrast between this tree here, which has kind of orange bark. It's a bit smaller than the other trees, and it has this nice lean to it, and I think it really does stand out against the other trees. This one I've shot at a kind of longer focal length with a wider aperture. It was more of a kind of scouting image, this one. But I think this area does have potential, and I do like the contrast. But I think, yeah, again, one that needs to be revisited. So I also took a panorama in this area as well. I think this is probably my favourite image from the day. Again, I'm not that happy with it, and I think it could do with a bit more work. And it's a little bit distracting, it's a bit busy, and I think it could have benefited from a bit of fog just to separate out the background, and I could have maybe made some more adjustments to where the trees are in the frame a bit. But I do really like the contrast, and I like that your eye's really drawn to this tree here. And I do like the texture of the brackens, and I like the kind of fresh green leaves over here. And I think it does kind of suit this panorama, a bit of a wider shot. But yeah, I think it really just needs some rain or some fog just to really bring it to life and to make it a bit more pleasing to look at. I'd like to know what you think as well. So here's that final area that I quickly went to on the way back to the car when it did start raining heavily eventually. And again, it's just a bit of an average shot, I think. It's quite nice. I quite like how the trees look in the frame and the graphic impact of them and how I've separated them out. And I do like the rich greens created by the rainwater. But overall, I just think it's a little bit average and it's missing something to make it special. It maybe needs a little bit of fog or something else just to create a bit more atmosphere. Maybe at a different time of day, it would have looked a bit more pleasing. But I do hope in that area I did still manage to cover some of the benefits of shooting in the rain. And like I said, I will create a video that's a lot more in depth with more of a focus on the rain when the conditions are right. Thank you so much for looking through these images with me. I hope it's still been useful for you, even though it was a little bit of a disappointing morning for me in terms of the photos. The image taking process, of course, was really fun. But yeah, I just wanted to show that reality that quite often you are going to come away with images that you're not completely satisfied with, or they need a bit more work to get them to where you want them. So I'd really love to know in the comments below if you've had a similar experience where you've gone out and you're a little bit disappointed with the photos you've got. And I'd love to hear what you think of the images as well. So please leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so as you saw, there wasn't really any images that I was really happy with. They maybe need a bit more work to go back to those scenes in different weather conditions, maybe with some fog or maybe actually rain like I was after. But that was just the reality of it, and that's what I wanted to share in today's video, that quite often I do come back and I'm a bit disappointed with the images, or I know I need to come back to them time and time again to improve them. So I hope you still found it useful even though it didn't go to the original plan. And if you have found it useful, I'd ask you if you could hit the like, the subscribe and the notification bell, because I'll have a lot more videos coming soon. So thank you so much again for watching, and I'll join you next time.